So a complete and utter lunatic turns up at Dover, starts chucking petrol bombs and commits suicide. Clearly, he was upset with what's happening in the English Channel. This is being used already by all of the groups that seem to think that anyone that wants to come to Britain has to be allowed in, that somehow they're all victims, when we know damn well from the last few months that huge numbers of young men are coming from Albania to join the drugs trade and illegal activity in the UK. So, what will happen? We'll see a change of language, I've no doubt, from politicians, perhaps even from the Home Secretary, as they cower in fear. We must not let what happened at Dover, we must not let the actions of one lunatic take away the gravity of this situation. 990 crossed on Saturday. Hundreds more came yesterday. They're coming again this morning. The asylum system is at breaking point. I was up in the northwest at the weekend. All anyone could talk about is the fact that almost every hotel in local towns is now full of young men who were seen wandering around the streets. Public opinion is overwhelmingly against what is going on. Public opinion overwhelmingly wants the government to act. What has Rishi Sunak done? He's had conversations with the French president about getting British presence over on French beaches. But as I've explained to you before in these videos, that will make almost no difference whatsoever. So the guy was a lunatic. He's not representative of those of us that want to have a proper debate about this. And I just want to say, I will not be bullied by the forces of political correctness. I will not be bullied by the hard left from letting this debate and letting this conversation go, even if Westminster doesn't have the stomach for it. It's just like the argument around the referendum when that awful murder took place of Joe Cox. Suddenly it seemed that Brexiteers were responsible. The debate we're having is civilised and decent, and it's about not just what is fair to people in this country, but also what is fair to those who've legally, particularly recently, come into Britain at great cost, great expense and great time. Who would ever have imagined we'd have a situation where people sleeping in bed in villages on the Kent coast now have weapons? In one case, a woman has a sledgehammer under her bed, so scared are they. And one thing that has resumed are beach landings. Dinghies are landing on the beaches day after day with dozens of young men running off into the countryside. This should be declared as a national emergency, not just a polite conversation with Monsieur Macron. Every single one of those young Albanian men that have come to this country in the last few months should be sent straight back there. And I promise you, if the government doesn't do it, they will lose the next general election on this issue alone. I certainly wouldn't vote for them. No suggestion that Labour would be any better. But look, in a case like this, in an emergency like this, we demand action. Are you listening in number 10?